Hello and welcome to BYJU'S IAS, presenting to you the daily quiz for 23rd of June 2021, Wednesday. Let us begin and have a look at the first question for today. Question number 1. Which of the given statements is or are correct? Kerala is the largest producer of rubber in India. The world's first GM rubber was planted in Karnataka. Rubber planting is eligible for carbon credits that can be obtained and sold in the Clean Development Mechanism market. Before we discuss the answer, let us first have a look at the context. This article in the Hindu newspaper today says that the world's first GM rubber sapling was planted in Assam. This was developed by the Kerala-based Rubber Research Institute of India. So what is special about this genetically modified rubber plant? This GM rubber sapling has been inserted with an additional gene of manganese-containing superoxide dismutase. This gene has the ability to protect the plant from adverse effects of severe environmental stresses such as cold. The GM rubber plant is expected to tide over severe cold conditions during winter, which is a major factor affecting the growth of rubber plants, especially in the northeastern regions of India. Also, a clarification has been given in this article that the GM rubber is planted not on a commercial basis but on an experimental level, and that all the mandatory biosafety measures applicable for GM crop trials have been followed. Now let us talk about natural rubber. Natural rubber is commercially produced from a tree called as Hevea brasiliensis, and this tree requires hot, moist equatorial climate. Natural rubber is obtained from the latex of rubber trees, which is white milky liquid. And this liquid is collected by making a cut on the rubber tree bark. This tree requires abundant moisture. It also requires well-distributed rainfall throughout the year and temperature above 25 degrees Celsius. Coming back to the question, Kerala ranks on top of being the major contributor in rubber production in India, making statement 1 correct. Some of the major rubber producer states are Tripura, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Assam among the others. Coming to statement number 2. Statement 2 is incorrect because it was planted in Assam. Coming to statement 3. In the year 2019, the Government of India launched the National Rubber Policy. And this National Rubber Policy states that rubber planting is theoretically eligible for carbon credits. These are the credits that can be obtained and sold in the Clean Development Mechanism market. And Clean Development Mechanism is one of the 3 forms of carbon trading mechanisms under the Kyoto Protocol. So statement 3 is correct, making option C 1 and 3 only the right answer. Moving on to question number 2. Which of the given statements with respect to Carnatic music is or are correct? Number 1. Dhrupad, Tarana, Dadra are its main vocal forms. Number 2. First references to Carnatic music was found in Haripala's Sangeeta Sudhakara. Number 3. Purandaradasa, Tyagaraja and Muthuswami Dikshitar are referred to as the Carnatic musical trinity. What is the context? The Padma Shri Award winner and Carnatic musician Parasala B. Ponnammal is no more. Coming back to the question. Dhrupad, Tarana and Dadra are the main vocal forms of Hindustani music and not Carnatic music. The main vocal forms of Carnatic music include Alapana, Niraval, Kalpanaswaram and Ragam Tana Pallavi. This makes statement 1 incorrect, ruling out option A and option D. Looking at statement number 2, this is correct because the first references to both Carnatic music as well as Hindustani music was found in Haripala's Sangeeta Sudhakara, which was written in 14th century AD. Coming to statement 3, yes, Purandaradasa is one of the biggest names in the history of Carnatic music. But the Carnatic musical trinity comprises of Tyagaraja, Muthuswami Dikshitar and Shyama Shastri. Therefore, the correct answer to this question would be option C 2 only. Here is a small task for you. Let us know in the comment section below which classical dance is accompanied by Carnatic music. Moving on to question number 3. The term hidden hunger seen in news best describes option A. Deficiency of micronutrients such as vitamins, iron, iodine and other trace elements. Option B. Body's inability to absorb nutrients due to an infection or disease. Option C. Protein energy malnutrition due to acute deficiency of food. Option D. Deficiency of micronutrients affecting the metabolic system, growth and development of the body. What is the context? According to this article in the Hindu newspaper, the Women and Child Development Ministry has been asked to conduct a survey on the impact of pandemic on malnutrition levels among children. The job losses, deaths caused by COVID-19, children being orphaned during the pandemic has brought the spotlight back to malnutrition and hunger. Malnutrition is caused by eating a diet that either contains insufficient or too much of nutrients. The one that we are focusing here is undernutrition. Coming back to the question, the right answer to this question is option A. A term that is associated with undernutrition is hidden hunger. That is a condition of lack of minerals and vitamins in human body. This nutrition deficiency is not caused due to lack of food, but due to the lack of food which is rich in high micronutrients. Let me explain. In the case of hidden hunger, an individual might be getting filling meal but severely deficient in essential vitamins and micronutrients. When people can't afford to diversify their diets with adequate amount of fruits, vegetables, animal source foods, in such cases, micronutrient deficiencies are inevitable. In India, for example, salt fortification is being done to address iodine deficiency, and milk is fortified with vitamins A and D. Moving on to question number 4. Manas National Park has which of the following designations? Number 1. Important Bird Area, World Heritage Site, Tiger Reserve, Elephant Reserve, Biosphere Reserve. Why this question? An article in the Hindu newspaper has a mention of Manas National Park. Captively bred pygmy hogs have been released into this national park. Coming back to the question, the right answer to this question is option D, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. The Manas National Park in Assam enjoys the highest level of protection. It became a tiger reserve in the year 1974 and a World Heritage Site in the year 1985. Under the Man in Biosphere program of UNESCO, in the year 1989, Manas National Park became a biosphere reserve. In the following year, that is in the year 1990, the Indian government added Kahitama Reserve Forest, Kokilabari Reserve Forest and Panbari Reserve Forest to form the Manas National Park. In the same year, it was declared a national park. It is also designated as an important bird area with more than 500 species of birds. This national park is a home to some of the highly rare and endangered wildlife species such as red panda, pygmy hog, golden langur and hispid hare, etc. Also note that the Manas National Park is core area of Chirang Ripu Elephant Reserve. Therefore, this is also an elephant reserve, making option D the right answer. Now let us have a look at a previous year question from the year 2018 prelims paper. With reference to agricultural soils, consider the following statements. Number 1. A high content of organic matter in soil drastically reduces its water holding capacity. Number 2. Soil does not play any role in sulfur cycle. Number 3. Irrigation over a period of time can contribute to salinization of some agricultural lands. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? In statement number 1, please remember that organic matter always helps in improving the water retention capacity of soil. So statement number 1 is wrong. Now looking at statement number 2. The sulfur reservoir is in the soil and sediments where it is logged in organic and inorganic deposits. Through excretion and decomposition, sulfur bound in living organisms is carried back to the soil. So the soil does have a role to play in the sulfur cycle, making statement 2 also incorrect. Now talking about statement 3, since almost all water contains some dissolved salts, salinity from irrigation can occur over time wherever irrigation occurs. So this statement is correct. Therefore, the correct answer would be option B, 3 only. The fact of the day for today is Forum for India Pacific Islands Cooperation. According to this article in PIB, India and Fiji have signed a Memorandum of Understanding for cooperation in the field of agriculture and allied sectors. And this article has a reference to Forum for India Pacific Islands Cooperation. India has had a long history of cooperation and close engagement with Fiji. Also, Fiji has a large population of Indian origin. Now, talking about the Forum for India Pacific Islands Cooperation, this was launched during the visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Fiji in the year 2014. It is a multinational grouping developed for cooperation between India and these 14 Pacific Island countries. So, what is its significance? The Pacific Ocean is Earth's largest ocean and is rich in marine resources. The Pacific has long been an area of geostrategic interest for countries like the US, Japan, China, Russia, Australia, etc. These Pacific Island nations are being wooed by these powers. Though these countries are relatively small in land area and distant from India, many have large exclusive economic zones. And these island nations also offer promising possibilities for fruitful cooperation between India and these countries. And India sees Indo-Pacific as a geostrategic expanse. Earlier, India's focus had largely been on the Indian Ocean alone, where it sought to play a major role and protects its strategic and commercial interests. The Forum of India-Pacific Island Cooperation Initiative marked the serious effort of India to expand its engagement in the Pacific Ocean. The primary aim of this forum is to focus attention on the Indo-Pacific as a maritime geographical entity. In the year 2014, when this forum was formed, India had offered some major assistance projects. India had offered its Navy's direct support and capacity building, especially for coastal surveillance and hydrographic surveys. This was to gain better understanding of maritime zones and strengthen the security of these exclusive economic zones. Since 2014 November, that is when this forum was formed, India has made good progress in building relations with these nations. In 2015, the second summit of this forum was held in Jaipur. With India sharing relevant expertise with these countries, the Pacific Islands can be brought closer to India. That is all for today. Thank you for being with us. Keep watching and keep learning.